Friday evening, and we're here with you today for a new episode of Panthers Primetime with your boy D Money. And it's always a beautiful time on this beautiful Friday when I get to share it with my brothers of the Blue and Black Attack, my true brothers of this Brotherhood Edition, which we have my man Panther Pickle, the host of Deal With It. We got my man Jake leading the invasion with the invaders, and the host of the Cole Show. We got Cole, and also shout out to my man Diesel Skills. He won't be in this episode tonight, but hey,
Yeah. Go to dome on the Brotherhood.
Sorry, man. Go
uh,
ahead.
well, and he's dealing with some things with the family or whatever. Family comes first, so shout out to Diesel Skills. And today we will be talking OTAs. We gonna talk about Brad Idzik, and we just gonna talk Panthers. So, fellas, Panther Pickle, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. Um, um, I'm doing all right. I'm liking what I'm hearing from OTAs. I absolutely love what I heard from the coordinators. Um, I know there's a little bit of chatter on the Twitterverse and the fanverse about Canales turning over play calling. I personally don't think it's all that surprising. Um, I understand that some of the play calling was a major issue last year when we watched games. It wasn't the only problem, but it was a problem. And Canales can't fire himself and hire a new head coach so he can concentrate on play calling. So he made the best decision he can make for the team, and I highly respect that.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We're gonna get into that a little bit also. Dave passing it over, saying how we all like how people really feel. There's been a split, between but just about any topic in the Panther Twitterverse and the Panther fan base is always
Mhm.
split a little bit. But we'll get into that. Jake, what's up, my man? How
Doing
we
great, brother.
how we doing this beautiful Friday?
I'm doing great, brother. Enjoying the beach vacation still. Happy to be on here on your Panthers Primetime episode 2. Won't gonna miss it for the world, brother. And unpanthers related, go Canes tonight. We need this win. Close out the series, make it to the finals.
Oh yeah, go Canes. And look at that. Now see that's a brother right there. He taking time from enjoying the beach. Laid up on the beach to be on the Panthers prime time tonight. I love that. I love it absolutely. Cole,
Dee Money.
what's going on, my man? How you doing this Friday?
I am well. Happy Friday to everybody. Just want to thank all the listeners for being here with you. Excited for another round of some Panthers talk with the best Panther podcasters in the world. Shout out to Brother D Money. We miss you.
Yeah. All right. So family, everybody knows it. It's been the talk all week. We had the OTA. I smiled a little bit. You had the little rain going, let the guys get to be kids again, make you start thinking about when you was a little dude and you grab your football out there and running around in the rain, splashing around in the water. And it just made me think to myself, like, I know them guys at one moment during them OTAs was going, I really get paid to do this. Like I really I get paid to play out there in the rain. And you see that one clip, Buddy running the ball, AJ Dillon and Canales is in the background, like yelling, rooting them on. Like it's a beautiful thing. Uh, I think that yeah, the OTAs gave us a little peek into the season, gave us a little introduction going. We've had a very, very long off season. Or at least it feels like it's been a very long off season. I think that the Blue and Black Attack has done a beautiful job in entertaining and keeping you informed through these dog days of the off season. But even more important than just like the OTAs, we had press conferences with the coordinators. Did it instill faith in some? Did it keep people pretty much where they were at? Or did the people still have concerns? There was a lot of things that you could read into them pressers this week. There was a lot just to say about like just OTAs in general, and that's where we're gonna start. We're gonna start OTAs Uh, Jake, with this OTA, what stood out to you this week that I don't want to necessarily say impressed you, but it made you a little more confident, made you feel good about your Carolina Panthers. We know that OTAs are just a minor part, a first start stepping stone into getting this thing going. But how did you feel?
I felt great. I felt great that we got a little bit of a snippet from Bryce Young being vocal, telling these guys that, hey, it fucking stopped raining. Let's get it together. Like seeing Bryce Young talk like that, man, was amazing. That made me feel really good about Bryce Young. I love seeing his personality, instill more faith in the guy. I have all the faith in the world with Bryce Young and his team going forward this season. So it's just really great to see. And I mean, looking at these wide receivers doing their little drills and stuff, they look fast, man. Great hands. They look fast already. I always love watching the wide receivers go through routes and just do these little training exercises they do. So I'm just excited for a season, man. I love seeing what I've seen so far.
Absolutely, absolutely. Anytime you can get them boys out there doing anything football, it strikes a match of excitement anyway. So, so through this week here, OTAs came through and ran out. What did you enjoy the most just off that little snippet of OTAs, or what are you liking right now about the Carolina Panthers coming out of these OTAs?
I kind of have a dark horse story. Around this time of year, I always think about a long shot player that's going to make a roster, but we're hearing a lot of noise. I think his name is Hall from Duke, the defensive
Oh,
lineman, undrafted.
oh, yeah.
One of my favorite stories this week. He could be pushing for a roster spot and potentially playing time. Not saying he's going to be a starter, but he is a force and a big body, and he could fill up the defensive line. I would love to see it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, where they was talking fast, smart. Well, no, if you go to that four-letter school, you're probably gonna be smart anyway. But I mean, everybody loves those stories. Everybody likes it when you got the underdog guy. Um, he do have some stiff competition though, Cole. He got some stiff competition to beat
Very
out.
much so.
But it'll be telling if he can win out, get him a 53-man spot. I'll be extremely proud of him. You always got to love the underdog story. The underdog story, I mean, it's kind of the backbone of sports through over the years. My man Pickle, you still here with me? Okay.
I think I got kicked out.
Oh
But yeah,
wow.
I agree with you, D Money. I love the underdog stories. I mean, we've been getting some UDFAs, so to speak, gems here lately. I mean, Coker was a UDFA. Our kicker Ryan Fitzgerald is a UDFA. I mean, who knows? This Hall dude might be our gem in the rough, so to speak. I'm definitely looking forward. I love the underdog stories. I hope he makes the roster, man. I hope he really truly earns it. You know, does day to day, puts all his effort into it. And I firmly believe if you go out there doing everything in your power and you show up, that good things happen to people like that.
Absolutely. My man Pickle, we got you back, man.
Yes, sir.
So far since I don't know if you had heard while you was out, but we were just talking about the OTAs coming and going. And
Hmm.
so far, just through this week of OTAs, what was it that you liked the most, or it made you smile, or made you feel a little bit more confident about your Carolina Panthers?
Well, I'll tell you what it was. And I heard Jake say something about the rain and Bryce's attitude and all that was encouragement. But what I liked was they didn't run from the rain this year. Last year, if it had rained during this time, they would have run from it. I liked that Jonathan Brooks wasn't put under shelter when it raining. He was left out there running in the rain just like everybody else. Now, JT Sanders was put under cover, but technically he's still recovering from that injury he had last year. If they were still recovering, I understand that.
Right,
But
right.
Jonathan Brooks is supposed to be healthy, so fine. He stayed out there in the pouring rain and worked out. I do like it that Bryce showed a lot of leadership and said, let's get it together. I do like it. I like how they're not hindering these guys from leading their way. And I do like that. We got a lot of guys, and the coach alliterated to it, that are self-moting themselves that they want to win. They're teaching themselves. They're motivated in their own heart and soul that we're going to win, and we're going to win very big. I like it that Icky has been there. I did not know this. I like it that Icky has been in every meeting and he's been right beside the guys. And I mean, D, it's hard on him. If you imagine, he was our starting left tackle. They got a guy in free agency, and people are saying, hey, he could replace Icky, and he only signed a 1-year deal. Then they drafted a left tackle in the first round. I mean, how Icky supposed to feel? But is he mad? Is he spiteful? Is he aggravated? No. Hey, right there next to him. I'm sure he shook that guy's hand and said, good luck, and I'll be back soon, and we'll all have a shot at this.
Oh,
I like that situation, so you know, what does the future hold? I don't really know. We can make up opinions. We can guess. We can kind of rock different ways of what we want to think. And you move this guy over here, and this guy, maybe he don't want to play no more after this year. We could do all that all day long. We're fans. That's what we going to do. But I like the fact that Icky didn't hide at home and keep it all covered up and pout about it. He approached it like a man, approached it like a teammate, and we're gonna see how it all turns out in the end.
yes, Pickle. And I was glad you touched on it the way that you did because basically I agree everything you said. It's more of what I saw this week,
Hmm.
OTAs and so forth, was the continuation of culture building.
Yep.
Like it's all been about the foundation and putting the bricks, and now you're adding all those other amenities and so forth. But now the culture, you could tell there's an accountability culture. There's a no excuses type of culture. We're gonna put our head down and work hard type of culture. Oh, it's the rain. It's time to have fun type of culture. And we've harped on it. We've kept talking about the competitions within these different rooms and so forth. But at the end of excuse me, at the end of the day, these guys are rooting for each other because their success is predicated to the person beside them. So yes, it was very, very great that Icky has stayed very active and not disassociated from the team. I think Jake touched on it last night, how mentally taxing it can be with that type of, dealing with an injury. You're right at that contract year. You don't really have control of your destiny to a degree, but you're not going to stop putting in the work that you would put in if you wouldn't have had this so that you can come back hopefully 100% and still be able to perform for your team. And I know like the story sucked for a lot of people because, he was a hometown guy, played college ball in the state, big draft pick, and he started off rough and then he figured out the left tackle position for the NFL and started to make strides before this injury happened. So, my prayers still go to him, but I am extremely proud of the dedication he has to the Carolina Panthers. Cole, Jake, do y'all have anything y'all want to add about Icky or anything else we had just said about the culture of the team right now?
I think even if he was healthy, he would still be a player to watch going into this season just because of the contract extension, or not extension, but just situation if he's going to get re signed or not. So he's on that list with that draft class as well as Bryce. I mean, XL, everybody. You really are going to lock into these guys. And I think they're all really going to have good seasons because they're going to want to continue to play here. I hope they all play great, get their money, and we get in the playoffs, Steve.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Jake?
I just really like how he's handled it, man. I like where his mind's at, how he's attacking this situation. I mean, nobody wants to be in this situation. I mean, going to a contract year and you have this type of injury, and people forget, and we can't forget about he had some really good games last year. He really did. People forget that. I mean, he was detrimental in the Packers game. I mean, he really was. I mean, people was talking about Micah Parsons and stuff like that. Icky really did have some really good games last year. It just sucks that he had that injury when he did in the playoffs. But I just love how he's handling it, man. Shout out to him. Wish him nothing but the best. And I mean, just he's treating it the right way. He really is.
D Money, I don't think he's going down without a fight, my friend.
You know what? I wouldn't either. Like, I think it makes me root for him more because of the amount of fight that like he's showing within the measures that he can fight. Okay, I can't be out there on the field being physical. I'm gonna be in these meetings. I'm gonna absorb. I'm gonna comprehend. I'm gonna know everything that at least when my body's up to par, I can hit the ground running because at least I have the mental part of it. So I still feel like he's fighting the battle. And to be quite honest, the way they keep talking and raving about it, I think he's doing a great job fighting that battle. Gentlemen. So we're not gonna go too in depth, but we're gonna talk about, pressers with Idzik, Evero, just the coordinators in general. Not too in depth. But one question that I have, and this time I'm gonna start with Cole and go around. We had Brad Izzet, and you yourself on Pickle Show was like you were kind of optimistic, but it sounded like a whole lot of coach speak, even though we know these guys are trained for coach speak. Let me ask this to the panel. After this presser, okay, and Brad Izzet did a great job, even though I still thought he was looking at a teleprompter. And, well, there was some not nice still shots of the brother at the podium. But after listening to him talk and just hearing his ideas and hearing what he thinks of these players and just what the Carolina Panthers need this year, is your level of confidence in Brad Izzet or liking Brad Izzet or thinking that we can be successful with him as the play caller, has it grown? Is it about where it was at, just going into it when you heard that he had got promoted? Or do you still kind of loom and maybe a little bit of skepticism because he really hasn't play called before? He came in as Dave's homie or whatever. Like, where are y'all at on the Brad Izzet situation at this point?
I'm trending up, D Money, with mine. I think longer I think about it, and I was thinking about it literally as you were talking, right? Then he doesn't have bad resources that he can lean on for game planning and play calling. He's got Bevel. Canales has called plays for a year now. So he's not in this on his own. There's already a base structure what the offense is going to look like. I don't think it's going to be too different. Like I said yesterday, I hope it's more downfield shots at least. But I think he did a really good job. I think he was speaking up the players that he needed to coach up and get to that level, like XL and others. I was proud to see that. XL's been working hard as a leader. I got to shout him out for that. So I just want a big year from everybody, man. Pulling for all the Panthers.
Okay. All right. Jake, same question for you, my brother.
I'm out there with Cole. I'm really more up on Idzik after listening to that interview. I mean, I know a lot of it was coach speak, so to speak, but the way that he had an answer for each question, I really liked what he said about the rookies. Just because you're a rookie, don't mean you get tied to be put in a bubble where you don't expect to make an impact, so to speak, year one. No, we literally had a rookie. That looked damn near all pro who actually got rookie of the year with Nilo. So it's a possibility. Just because you're a rookie don't mean that you can't have a starting impact on this team. And I really loved his answers when it came to him talking about the rookies.
All right. All right. Panther Pickle, I have the same question for you.
Let me tell you what, my friend.
Okay.
I think Izzik's going to do great. I have zero problems with it because Idzik has spent time in Seattle. He grew up in the coaching ranks right next to Brad Idzik, or right next to Dave Canales, excuse me. When Idzik was just a smidgen right underneath Canales, when they were in Seattle, and the associate head coach, I forget his name already, was their OC there. So it's not that he doesn't know any of them. It's not green to him. Plus, he was with Brad or Dave Canales in Tampa, and then he came here. And as Dave Canales was head coach, Brad Idzik still carried the offensive coordinator title, and he was the offensive coordinator the last few years. The only difference is he didn't call plays. So now that he's having this opportunity to call plays, he knows the playbook. He knows the players, and they all know him. And if he has some sort of glitch, he's got two people to reach out and help him: the associate coach, who was the OC in Seattle, or Dave Canales himself. Now, a lot of the national media members, and like you, I don't want to spend all day on this, but they seem to follow their attention to how wrong it was for Dave Canales to do this. And I think it shows Dave Canales' maturity as a head coach and as a man. He openly up and said, if I look at my team, we have a problem with offensive calling, play calling. That problem may be me. I'm gonna let Brad do his job, and I'll play head coach. And if this don't work out, then we'll figure out what we're going to do next time. Because the man can't fire himself. He can't make himself the offensive coordinator and hire somebody else to be head coach.
Right.
And to be honest, I respect that because he's honest. And if people that are upset about it, maybe they should consider that Dave Canales did a sensible, intelligent way to handle this situation instead of getting up there and saying, well, guys, I'm doing the best I can, and maybe I shouldn't have been hired as a head coach, and you know, I was only spent 1 year as an offensive coordinator. Golly gee darn. I mean, he didn't do all that compound foolishness. He walked up and acted like a man, and he said, you know, looking at film, some of this is on me. I'm going to let Brad Idzik, my man for many years now, have his opportunity. Because how foolish would we look, D, if we told Brad Idzik that we're going to hire a real offensive coordinator and you can move on. He goes somewhere else in a few years. He's the new Sean McVay. How foolish would it make us look like? Now, but that man's a smart man. Dave Canales knows what he's doing. And we fans, and we all have certain opinions, and not all of them are really good. You know what? If all us fans had to get on live stream every time we screwed up and got something wrong, that's pretty much all you'd see.
Yeah.
So, you know, I like that. You know, a shout out to the Baltimore Ravens, who have a new offensive coordinator. Mr. Doyle was a offensive coordinator who didn't call plays in Chicago last year for 1 year. Before that, he was a tight ends coach in Denver.
Mm.
So if that young man, Mr. Doyle's in the Baltimore Ravens, and he's struggling, because you know it happens sometimes, and he needs to reach out to holler at somebody, he can't call Ben Johnson up for this head coach of Chicago Bears and ask him something. He ain't got nobody. He ain't got no former offensive coordinator. He ain't got nobody that knows anything about calling plays. Now, he does have Lamar Jackson, and that's all he got. So it looks like to me this national media is looking at the wrong first-time offensive coordinator.
Absolutely.
Because Brad Idzik has been the offensive coordinator since he came here.
It's interesting to me how Carolina can do something and another team does something, and it's a bad move on our end, and it's a intelligent move on the other end when it comes to national media. We really are the Rodney Dangerfield at NFL. We don't get no respect.
None.
But
Right.
we're gonna flip it to the other end. Now, Pickle, I know I'm gonna let you start with this one because your history with this fella right here has been comical. It even sparked an agenda for about a year and a half. Like, really, you are the Joker to this dude being Batman. And I'm talking about EJ Avera. Now, one of the things that the brothers keep telling me about is how happy he looks on that podium when he know he got a Jalen Phillips and he got a Devin Lloyd. But when I ask you this about Avero and what's your faith in him this year and what you expect, the question I also want to tag along with it is now that Avero has the best defensive roster on paper that he's had since he's been here at the Carolina Panthers. How hot is that seat on Avero, Pickle? Outside of, do you have confidence in him
Yeah,
being to take this talent we have? But importantly, how much of the foot the flame is to his feet when it comes to this defense being successful? And where do we need to rank this year as a defense to consider it a success?
the heat is off. There
It's
ain't no heat on it
okay.
because the heat is on the players. Because D Money, if you've been waiting your whole life for this one job,
Uh,
you've studied, you've worked hard, you went from bottoms up to get this one job, and you're a centimeter away from getting it. And you don't get it, but you still in that ranking. You still considered one of the best.
right,
And now your boss brought in all this extra stuff and said, you could use this to your advantage.
right,
You gonna say, no, I don't need that. You gonna say, no, y'all gonna work today. I'm gonna be the best.
right,
I've got everything I need for my defense. I've got 2, maybe 3 stud starting corners. I've got a loaded safety room. Now my inside linebacker, I got 1 stud and the others might be closer to duds than studs. But I have to deal with that because I got some really good, talented edge rushers. Got a great defensive front. The worst defensive front guy on this whole roster is hurt. Might not make the season, and that might be a plus. But I can't tell the media that. So if I'm Evero, my seat ain't at all hot. But and fact is, the head coaches know this. Why? Because they already named somebody, a guy who's been here as long as Evero's been here, as the assistant defensive coordinator. Now, the Cooley, the guy a lot of people had already thought was a passing game coordinator, and he was going to take that position, may not, because they turned around and made the linebackers coach the assistant defensive coordinator. And I'm not going to be mean, but I don't know that I don't know that linebackers coach did a whole lot to get that award, but he got it anyway. So, because I ain't seen nothing in the last few years from this linebacker room that tells me I should be impressed. But nonetheless, we is where we at. And I do hope Evero does superb. I would like us to be a top 5 defense, and in some categories, a number 1 defense. Because if our secondary gets anything less than a top 3 rating, I'm going to be disappointed. I believe, as I said it a few weeks ago or a week ago, I'm going to say it here. I believe Nick Scorton will be the defensive player of the year for the Carolina Panthers. I believe he's going to have at least 10 sacks. Fact is, my man, I believe Nick Scorton is going to have 12 sacks on the season.
Preach.
And best thing these fans can suck it up and buttercup it all the way home. And because if Evero's that good and he gets his head coach, I'm going to clap my hands and say, glory, hallelujah. We've got 2 third-round picks coming our way. We thank you, Evero. And if you need help packing, the Blue&Black Attack podcast will be right there to help you.
Hey, Jake. So tell me, man, same question for you, bro.
Top that, Jake.
I can't top it, Pickle. Somebody had the lotion from that man. Somebody
It's the
had
most
the lotion
moisture
from
I've
that
ever
man.
seen for Avero from that man in my life.
I'm telling you right now. But nah, no, seriously, dude, Evro has all the means to be happy, dude. I mean, literally, we had one of the top secondaries.
Yeah,
in
it's
my
good. You're
opinion,
muted, Pickle. Don't even say
in
it.
all football.
I got my
In
lotion.
all
I got
football
my
last
bubble
year.
gum. I've
And
even
then you
got 2
add to
torch
it.
ice cream in the freezer.
All right, hey, Pickle, shut up and let me
Get
handle
'em.
this. And then you add to our secondary with Will Lee and Wheatley in the draft. You add them two guys into it in our secondary. Then you add a monster in Jalen Phillips and Devin Lloyd, who we sorely needed for years past. We on a defense that we have Derek Brown. We even added a damn Hunter Lee, Lee Hunter, in the draft. I mean, we absolutely just added to this defense every damn where, man. I mean, on paper, as long as we stay healthy, like, is top 10 defense really that surprising? Is it really?
No. Yeah. I don't know.
I just
Just
blew his brain.
really, like in my head, I feel like if we're better stopping the run this year, right, and really do a great job at stopping the run and getting a little, just a little bit more pressure, I think our secondary, like Pickle was saying, is going to have the opportunity to make some plays. But it's like, you know me, I'm that optimist that it rains on me at some point because I've been saying we going to stop the run for like the last 2 seasons. And we ain't consistently stopped the run. But do I believe that we can get to the point with the additions we had to stop the run? Yes. So I have to sit here and look like the dummy, like, no, it's not surprising. But yeah, it is. I I don't know. But I like where you're going with it, Jake. Like we've added better talent. Not just name value, but production value. And those guys look like they want to be here. They're doing everything like they really truly want to be Carolina Panthers. So one of my things, and this has been a pickle thing too, is we want guys that want to be here. Not just for the fact that they can get a nice payday, but they legitimately want to put on that process blue. So I'm praying for a top 10 defense. Would it be a disappointment if we were like 15-10?
I don't
We
think
could get
so.
into
I
the
mean, I feel
playoffs
good.
that easy.
Yeah, you
All right.
can.
Well, Cole,
You have to have an offense somewhere similar to that
yeah,
too,
yeah,
though.
absolutely, absolutely. Cole, the
Mhm.
same question, bro.
About EJ?
Yeah, man.
Okay. So you know there was nobody nastier about that man than me the day we signed him to his last little contract coming off of the worst
Oh,
statistical
Pepper
year
was
in
pretty
NFL
strong.
history. He was bad. He was right there with me. However, I started to see some things last year, especially when we started forcing turnovers, that made his scheme and style a little more palatable. I think a lot of it, I'm going to be honest about mine. I'm going to humble myself here. I think a lot of it at the beginning, D Money, was me not having an understanding of the system because it's so complex. And I still can't spill it all out to you 100% because we do so many different things. But the thing that I like most about it going forward is I think we're going to have playmakers at safety. We're going to have opportunities to put Trayvon up in the box. We're going to slide in a Wheatley. We're still going to have Ransom. So we're pretty deep back there. And so I think we're going to be playmakers there. Of course, you got JC. And then our boy Fuller, he's going to make some plays. Mike Jacks got better. If we can just get those sacks up and get the turnovers up like we did last year and trend up, I think we can have a top 10 defense.
That- I'm feeling it. I'm still sitting there processing. Like I've been telling myself really since about around draft time, if we could have a top 15 defense, I'd be happy. Then next thing you know, Jalen Phillips got signed. And
Exactly.
then Cook got signed. Then Lee Hunter got drafted, and we added more depth within the secondary, right? And then I start to hear people go like this: "Hey, man, anything under top 5 is unacceptable." And I'm sitting here like,
Top 5 is strong, bro. That's really strong from
but
where we were.
actually, I don't like Avero.
Yeah.
So if you don't like Avero, but then the talent is there, you're saying that they're going to produce a fighter defensive coordinator, but that's a conversation for another day. Because, like, for me, honestly, I think 10 to 15, I think would be major success for us. I mean, obviously, if we're not at 15 and we're getting into like the 20s, we're giving up points.
Yeah.
And, that's not what any of us want. We ain't trying to give up the points. But
No.
we could, I think if we're sitting firmly at a 15 to 13 and we stay there at a good spot throughout the year, and let's say defense really catches fire towards the end of the year, that it pushes us to 10, I think that would be absolutely great. But you brought up a name that I want to ask all of y'all. Like, do you really even think he's going to be on the field this year? And the reason why I'm asking is because I still haven't did my homework on this fellow like everybody else has. But you brought up was it Key Wheatley? I think that's
Yeah.
how we pronounce his first name.
Yeah.
Um, is this dude, mind you, I know we haven't had no training camp, we haven't had any of that. I understand that, right? But is this dude actually good enough to affect change on this defense this year one?
Potentially. I think he, from what I've seen and on paper, he forces turnovers. He makes a difference in coverage, and he has good size. He's an athletic specimen. He's not going to be a weak link on the defense. If definitely not this year, he's going to play in the future. I think we got a steal there. He's a potential starter, no doubt about it.
Okay.
Evero loves his safeties, man. If there's one position that he loves,
I'd love to see all 4 of them playing, Jacob.
Lord have mercy. I mean, you just look at Nick Scott and you know he loves the safety.
Yeah, he got no place in the heart.
He really does. But now I think he'll see playing time, but I don't know if it'll be dramatically where it looks like he's taking over the position year one. I don't know about that, but I do see him out there getting some plays like Ransom did last year, just because of the safety rotation that he loves to do.
And I can live with that. Like Jake, I really could live with that. If he had like a little dosing roll, like with Ransom, what we just gave.
Just some packages and stuff.
Yeah, like I could really rock with that. But I couldn't go yay or nay with the fella on what he could do right away. Because I'm gonna be honest, I didn't watch Penn State football this year.
Understandable.
I didn't see any Penn State football this year. And I'm not saying that I was judging by the spot that we picked them at, but there was a lot of safeties off the board by the time we got to Wheatley. So I was wondering, like, do we just fill a spot or do we believe in this guy? But since we've been going, all I hear is Evero talking about Mr. Wheatley. I've heard somebody else with the Panthers bring up Wheatley. So I was really curious, like, could this dude make an impact? And I'm going to have to say probably could, because you got to think that he would probably be on special teams, don't you think? Like a kickoff or something.
For sure.
That can make some plays out there. Pickle, like, what are your thoughts on Wheatley? Do you think Wheatley could impact this team early for us, or is he kind of like our project safety?
I think he's going to be active. I really don't know, if he's going to affect as a starting lineup type guy. I would imagine he would at least come in and be a backup at least. Maybe I do believe at the very least by middle of the year, if not close to the end of the year, he'll be the starter. If it's not him, somebody else will be. And it's nothing at all on Scott. And, that dude in the chat mentioned Simmons. And listen, I've been pulling for Simmons.
Forgot about him too, yeah.
I've been pulling for him since he was drafted by the Arizona Cardinals. But he went to the Cardinals, flubbed out for whatever reason. The Cardinals couldn't handle him. Then he went to the Giants. It looked okay, but it was never really a starter. And he kind of set almost a year without a job till he came here. I love that man to death, but it's like a lot of other positions. Step up or stay on special teams. It's all up to you. Because let me share, under this defense and this head coach and this staff, if Simmons puts the work in and he shows out, they'll start him somewhere. That's just how that is. Now, that being said, I think day one opening day starter will be Nick Scott.
Right.
How long he keeps that job might depend on him. But I do like Nick Ransom quite a bit as well. And a lot of people say he's not a starting safety and free safety rather. He may not be a starting free safety. But Morig is on his second year of a 3-year contract. So let's also remember Ransom could be a starter before next year or
Yeah.
before the end of.
I was thinking
I
about
mean,
that with the
you know,
Wheatley
say
conversation.
if they walked in and had salary cap situations, then next year, then it may be a time that we see move on from Ransom. I kind of, or not Ransom,
Got
yeah,
We
I
got too
hope
many
not.
damn safeties right now.
Well, I mean, it's a good problem
It's
that
a
we're
great
having.
problem to
It
have,
really is. And
especially for
listen,
injuries.
yeah, but Ransom signed a 4-year deal. I absolutely see no problem with having let Morig finish his contract here and let Ransom, if Ransom ready, let him be the starter. But if they extend Morig, that tells me Ransom's not ready to be a starter.
Oh, absolutely.
So, you know, it's a great problem to have by a lot of ways. I do like the fact is I like all 4 of our safeties.
I do
I
too.
really do. If you know, if I had to line them all up as a starter, I'm not certain who I'd start. That might be a hard decision for me to make. But so, good thing I ain't a coach. I can be a fan and sit back and if it don't work, I can say, yeah, see, coach, I wouldn't have done it that way. Because
Yeah,
I'm a fan. I can say it that way. I
that
can
is,
be one of them backseat drivers.
yeah, that's job security and backseat coaching. I'll tell you that much, man. Now, I'm gonna get this final topic because it hit me, and it's a question that I have now because we have a long season, long, long season. Who's our backup quarterback, y'all? Now we got Kenny Pickett. He's had some experience in the league, maybe not the best success, but he's been in the league. He could probably win you a game or two, possible. All right. We got Will Greer, Charlotte native, has been a member of this team before, and has kind of journeyed along. And then we got these solid gold pick, Haynes King, wanting to be slash Swiss Army knife slash Taysom Hill Jr., whatever you want to call him, or just your future backup quarterback. Now, I will say this.
Future Hall of Famer.
Oh, Jesus.
Jesus Christ.
Okay,
All
Pickle
right.
sit here
That
first.
might be pushing.
Future Hall of Famer.
Jake done left. He done,
Thank
he
you,
done got
Jake.
so aggravated he just dropped the killer out.
Jeez Louise. Dang,
Uh,
come on, bro. Wow. Okay. But no, the reason why I asked that, and God forbid, I'm not trying to burn Panther Universe down and I'm not trying to anything. But
it's a
we almost
realistic
lost
obviously.
we almost lost Bryce last year. With
Right.
Dang. It just happens.
Mhm. He
And
played hurt. People don't like to have that conversation, but he did.
yeah, and the main thing is, like we said, the season gets longer. They're proposing to make it longer and everything else. I think it's more important now that you got a backup that can really pick up the slack if it's number 3, 4 games, or have to muster the load for a season depending on the injury. Who do y'all? I feel like this. Who do you like? But who do you realistically think would be the number 2? I know we don't have no training camp yet, but just from what we got, what you think?
Um, I personally believe that Kenny Pickett will be our number 2.
Same.
I believe that unless Haynes King shows a lot more than the coaches expect, I think they have a hope to put him on the practice squad. it's going to get dicey if he really plays extremely well in some of these preseason games, because he may or may not make it through the waiver wire. Now, he is a quarterback, he's an athletic quarterback, but there was a bunch of athletic quarterbacks in this draft, and a lot of them ain't going to make the roster. So that's going to work in our favor. So um, now, um, I also didn't think Jalen Coker would clear waivers when he was a rookie and they cut him, but he did. So I support that. But I would like, myself personally, I would just like to put um, Haynes King as my number two, and then put one of the two veteran guys, whoever makes it, on the practice squad. That's what I would do. But we know I'm not in charge, so I do expect Kenny Pickett to make the. And if if Haynes King gets picked up off waivers, D, it wouldn't shock me for to put them to put uh Will Greer on the practice squad just till they find somebody else. You know, you're muted, D.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I can see that. I could absolutely, truly see that. What about you, Cole?
I'm right there with Pickle. I think it goes Bryce, Pickett, Greer, then King. As of right now, I think King and Greer has the potential to flop, unless something really happens in training camp, preseason games. Excuse me. That would be the only chance I think that Hayes could jump Kenny Pickett. But if that happens, I don't think the Panthers would be too scared because it's just a backup position. But it's probably a little far fetched. But I would love to see Hayes King as our backup one day.
Well, I agree with the comment. Like, I think it's Panther where he was saying backup quarterback is a concern of his, regardless of
Absolutely.
like who wins it. And it really is a concern. It's not one that I put in front of the rest like that, but it's always like sneakily in the back of my head because I remember how we all paused when Buddy stepped on Bryce last year when Bryce was
Seriously.
going back and we didn't know if Bryce was gonna play. And Andy Dalton had that look on his face like, hold up, I'm going in. I was so happy Bryce came back in because I just felt like it was about to be a total just tragedy for us. It's you can't build every room up like you want to every year. You know, it's took us a while to get these defensive rooms kind of bolstered to the way we want it, offensive line rooms and so forth. Um, and I think they believe that Bryce is going to have a pretty good year and stay healthy. That I don't think that they really think Bryce would miss significant time, even though anything can happen in this league, so forth. That room scares me just for the fact that we just really haven't had a backup really in the last 2 years. Like Andy, just I don't believe in Andy. I'm not gonna disrespect Andy Dalton or whatever. Thank you for your time that you was with the Panthers. But I got about as much confidence in these backups at quarterback that I had with Andy Dalton as quarterback. And I'll support any of them. But Kenny Pickett, I just don't. I just don't know about the second string. Like, I was wondering if the concerns of y'all's was as deep as mine. That was one of the reasons.
Absolutely.
That was one of the
Yeah,
reasons I brought it up because it's been a low lying thing of like if Bryce really does go down for any period of time, do I trust any of these guys? Like, would I want to trust any of these guys? And then I'm looking at Pickett and I'm looking at Will Greer, and please tell me if I'm wrong. I feel like I'm looking at the same player as far as production. Like one
right,
doesn't really do nothing better than the other one. And then with Haynes, we don't know what Haynes can do yet. And we don't know how they plan on utilizing Haynes early on, which could be to our detriment or it could be to our benefit. It's just one of those things that like and I don't even believe camp is really gonna tell us too much. We're just gonna see a little bit within the preseason games and then it's who Dave's comfortable with. Luckily, I haven't heard Dave really tip his hat either way with any of the other quarterbacks besides Bryce. So we don't have a person that we can even say is kind of like his favorite or whatever. But it's just going to be interesting because we got to pray for Bryce's health. That's why I am so happy, and even looking back presently and in the future, what we've done with this offensive line to try to keep Bryce upright and to make sure that we can try to formulate a running game that averages more than 4.3 yards a game. And it's I don't know. We just offensively, the offense is going to be the biggest question mark this year for us, I believe, unless the defense doesn't start off like quick right away off the gates. The offense is going to be the biggest issue, like the biggest red flag area, like, or at least the focus on: are we getting better? Are we getting better? And are we getting better? And yes, we know that we need Bryce. I'm not going to stay long winded on that, but I'm hoping maybe during training camp there'll be somebody that's released, something just don't work out, and they're a quality second type of individual that maybe we could work out or something of this nature. Because to be honest, I just don't, and I'll come back and I'll swallow my words. I just don't think Kenny Pickett or Will Greer is really the guy. And I only say that because if they have to play, I can't say that our defense can play strong enough if they're not at a level that we need them to be. So that's all I'm gonna do to wrap it up with those guys whatsoever. And the main thing that I with this show here, we were just talking about this week with the OTAs and the coordinators and so forth, was football is back.
Yes, it is.
It might not be in the fashion that we want yet and desire and crave, but we gotta step in that direction. And so now we have some OTAs, some guys could learn some stuff. These guys will be in and out the building. And we're really going to be looking forward to training camp in the very near future. You got the Hall of Fame game. By the time we get to the Hall of Fame game, I'm saying we're there. You know, we're here. You will probably be like a good month away from football. Everybody can make their great and beautiful predictions. But just remember this: the blue and black attack, just this blue and black attack, the way they cover the Carolina Panthers. I want you to know Monday nights, pickle, deal with it. Wednesday night, invader spotlight, diesel skills, Jake. The whole family's usually around at some point. Thursdays, the Cole show. Fridays, Panther Primetime. And if any other things else that's gonna be going on, the blue and black attack will be there. So tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell folk you don't like. We'll bring you together. We're Brotherhood Edition. We will unite the masses. It's a beautiful time. We're gonna give you everything that we got. Pickle, do you want to talk to them about what's coming on Tuesday?
As soon as you unmute yourself, my friend.
Well,
There you go, brother.
some people are impressed. I could even talk when I'm muted. Uh, yeah, the Carolina Panthers are going to have a blueprint on um on Tuesday at 6 o'clock. We will be covering that live. I don't know
Very
that we'll
nice.
hit exactly 6. We will try, but we may have to bump that, uh, work around that part. But we will be covering that, if not live, shortly after it debuts. And we'll be playing it. I think we'll be playing it, and we'll be chatting about it, and we'll have our heads deep into that. We'll be doing that instead of a deal with it episode on Monday. Our deal with it will be the live coverage of the Panthers Blueprint episode, season 4, episode 1. They will be covering and looking inside the war room of the 2026 draft.
Now that's gonna be a good time. That's gonna be an excellent time. I think everybody enjoys those blueprints. I think they kind of give you a little bit, a little bit more while football is down. give you a little bit of insight into your team. You know, they ain't gonna tell you nothing they don't want you to know. But for a true fan who wants to know the inner workings and different phases of different time frames that we're not like privy to be a part of, the blueprint gives you an opportunity to really get their thought process, personal interviews. They usually even do a recap with like some of the rookies and give you a backdrop in history and so forth. So
Mhm.
if you are a person that's not familiar in what the blueprint is, but you are a lover of the Carolina Panthers, I recommend you checking it out. And I also recommend you checking it out with Panther Pickle, because I'm gonna tell you, if there's something in there he thinks is some BS, he gonna tell you. But it's just a beautiful time. You got that commercial pulled up,
Yes, sir. I tell you what, if you want to, uh, we'll play this as we out, or we can play it now and then talk about it a little bit if you want to. It's up to you, True Fan.
okay, I'm gonna just give the out and then
All
we
right,
can all right.
that works.
First off, I want to thank every single one of y'all that came to chill with us this Friday for Panthers Primetime with your boy Dee Money. Once again, I want to thank Cole, the host of the Cole Show, my brother from another mother. I want to thank Pickle, first ballot Hall of Famer when it comes to this content creating. My man Jake the Snake, he had to jump out a little early. Once again, shout out to my man Diesel Skills. We know you're not with us tonight, but you're with us in spirit. We love you, my brother. Hey, we're gonna still be breaking out this Panthers content. We're happy to bring this Panther content, and we love doing it for y'all and interacting with y'all. I want to thank Panther Girl, my man Mike Dubs. We had quite a few Panthers was in here. We had
Shout out
Mark,
to the chat for sure, bro.
yeah, Marco Cash. We had a lot of people.
Great comments too.
Yeah, and there was a lot of great comments, a lot of great interaction. I love when I get to just interact and involve with every single one of y'all. But like I always tell you, I love every single one of you. If you ain't with us now, you ain't welcome to the parade. Jeez.
Keep out.
If you want to do things the right way, you have to spend a lot of time. You got to put the work in.
This is exciting. Some of the pieces we're putting together, but also knowing what could really help us make us special.
It's a long, tedious process.
Like I said, perseverance, grit, always having faith in myself.
This is a cool opportunity to make this room strong.
Football is just life-changing. What would I be doing without football?
The board kind of evaporates pretty quickly in front of your eyes.
I knew that would take him.
What a killer.
They were doing the same thing that we would have done.
Keep picking.
Come on. We're not taking calls on this pick unless you're willing to do something dumb.
The new standard in Carolina has been set to be a playoff team.
We didn't know if we were going to have a chance to draft him at that spot.
Don't count your chickens. The wolf comes by and just takes one egg at a time. Big Lee Hunter there.
6'3", 318-pound frame.
Everything you do, just do it with violence.
The length with the speed. He's got good hands.
So we just get Chris Brazzell on the 30.
You know, iron sharpens iron.
Is there a path? Yeah, and we can see the path. Is it likely? No, it wasn't particularly likely.
We felt good that he was going to be able to fall to us, and luckily it did. You know, we got a monster.
I love this team. I'm going to be a Panther for life.